Hello, algebra students. Here's part one of your review video. Okay, I'm not actually doing problems from the review sheet, though if you send me an email, I might do one for you. Be more than happy to. All right, first of all, I'm going to graph this equation, and I'm going to graph it in slope-intercept form. Now, some of you would say, oh, it'd be easier to do it in standard form. Maybe it would, but I'm telling you the directions for this problem are to do it in slope-intercept form, which means I got to get the y alone. So I'm going to divide by 3. I'm going to divide by 3, and I'm going to divide by 3. Uh-oh, that's going to get a little bit ugly, but I'll do the best I can. All right, so I'm going to get y equals 2/3 x minus 5/3. Now, I don't like 5/3 in terms of graphing, so I'm going to go mixed number on it. 3 goes into 5 one time. There's 2 left over, and I divide it by 3, so it's negative 1 2/3. So to plot my y-intercept, I'm going to have to plot the point 0, negative 1 2/3. Well, negative 1 would be here, wouldn't it? Negative 2 would be there. Negative 1 2/3 would be right around there. All right, so that would be the point 0, negative 1 2/3. Doesn't really look like a 2/3. Sorry, I'm going to I'm going to sneeze. So hopefully that wasn't too loud. Oops. I keep forgetting to not do that. There we go. Now I got a smaller one in case I do it again. All right, so let me put the origin back in there, the x-axis, and we're going to plot the point 0, negative 1 2/3. It was approximately there. There we go. That looks a little bit better. Now my slope is 2/3, so I'm going to rise 2. So 1, 2. I'm going to run 1, 2, 3. I'm going to rise 2 and run 1, 2, 3. And there you go. All right, so I can draw my line. It's going to do something like this. And let me see here. All right. There we are. Okay, pretty simple stuff. Even with that ugly y-intercept, we can still do the problem. All right, number 2 is in standard form, though I'm asking you to do it in slope-intercept form. I'm going over this because some of you had a little trouble with it. To get in slope-intercept form is to get the y alone. My first step is going to be to get rid of this 3x because it's attached to the 4y by addition. Now by subtraction, the subtraction sign belongs to the 4. It's a positive 3. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. And so I'm going to get negative 4y equals 12 minus 3x. Now it looks very much like the last problem. I'll divide by negative 4. I'll divide by negative 4. I'll divide by negative 4. And I'm going to get y equals negative 3 plus 3/4 x. Now remember, the x can be in the numerator or next to the fraction, but not in the denominator. All right, so my y-intercept is going to be 0, negative 3. Plot that right there. I don't have to label it because this graph is numbered. I should put the origin, x-axis, and y-axis on the graph. And then I'm going to rise 3, 1, 2, 3, and run 4. Rise 1, 2, 3, and run 4 right there. And remember, my slope was positive 3/4, and this line is going up to the right. Previous problem, the slope was positive, it's going up to the right. If it was a negative slope, I would be going down to the right. All right, so there we go. There we go. And get the line a little bit thinner. And there we are. Okay, problem 3. This time it looks like a slope-intercept problem, but I'm asking you to do it in standard form. So to get standard form, I want it to look like ax plus by. I feel another sneeze coming on, just so you know, equals c, and a is positive. And I really liked how Anna Alfano said positive a. All right. Well, I need the x and y on the same side of the equal sign. same side of the equation. So I'm going to take away 2x so that my x and y term will be on the left-hand side. Doesn't matter if they're both on the left-hand side or both on the right-hand side, but they need to be on the same side. And the negative 14, in this case the c term, has to be by itself. And that's not actually c, because if you notice, a is not positive. To rectify that, I will divide by negative 1. Divide by negative 1, and I'll divide by negative 1. And so when I do that, I'm going to get 2x minus 6y, and that's going to equal 14. All right, so I can go find ABC. So ABC, easy as 2, negative 6, 14. All right, and so now I can find my slope by doing the negative of a over b, which is going to simplify to positive 1/3. Now I'll go looking for intercepts. I only need to find one of the intercepts because I know my slope. So let's check it out. Does negative 6 go into 14 evenly? No, it doesn't. So I won't worry about the y-intercept. Does 2 go into 14 evenly? It does. So that gets me 7. Well, maybe I better actually do that. Not do so much in my head. I'm sorry. Some of you can do it in your head. Let me get rid of that 7 here. So since 2 goes into 14 evenly, I'm going to find the x-intercept. How do I know it's the x-intercept? Because 2 is attached to x. So I'm going to go 2x plus, well, actually minus, isn't it? It's minus 6y equals 14. And so I'll have 2x minus 6 times 0 equals 14. Those will cancel. 2x minus 0 is 2x. We'll get 2x equals 14. And I'll divide by 2. Get x equals 7. So my x-intercept is at 7, 0. Can you do it right in your head and go right to 7, 0? Sure you can. If you know how, you go ahead and do that. So I'm going to put the origin in, x-axis, y-axis, and 7, 0. Right there. Now my slope is 1/3, so I'll rise 1, run 1, 2, 3. Now, I can also do the slope negative 1 over negative 3, since I'd like to get more points on here. So go down 1, back 1, 2, 3. I'll go down 1, back 1, 2, 3. And that should be enough to draw an accurate line. And so let me see here. Let me start there. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. I'd like it to go beyond the points. And let me make the line a little bit thinner. Change the color. And then put an arrowhead on it. All right. Now, one thing that I'd like to go over again, just to make sure you get it, it's real simple. We'll do the systems in tomorrow's review video. Okay. Let me lock that in place and get my origin marked and my x-axis and y-axis. Now I'm not actually going to do a system. I am going to graph two equations on the same line though. I'm going to graph the equation x equals 4. And I'm also going to graph the equation y equals negative 2. Okay, let's do the red one first. X equals 4. Now there's really two ways to think about it. You could think about a table and x has to be 4. And you can pick your other y's. For example, you could go 1, 2, 3. How do I know x has to be the same? Because it says x equals 4. So you could plot those 3 points and you have your line. Or you could think about it as being in standard form. You could say, well, this is like 1x plus 0y equals 4. And then you can go A, B, C. Easy as 1, 0, 4. Your slope is going to be undefined. It'll be the fraction 1 over 0, which means there's no slope. But you can still use the rise 1 and run 0 movement to get your other points. Now, to find the x-intercept or the y-intercept is a little bit tricky. See, 0 can't go into 4 because you're not allowed to divide by 0. So you can't find the y-intercept, so I'll find the x-intercept. And when I do that, I get the equation x equals 4 because y, 0 times 0, and cancels, and x plus 0 is x, and it just ends up being 4, 4, 0. So you could plot the point 4, 0, and then rise 1, run 0, rise 1, run 0. And you notice, look at this, I'm getting the same points. 4, 1, 4, 2, 4, 3 would be right there. So this one will be the vertical line going through x equals 4. That's what that means right there. Okay, has no slope because you can't divide by 0, but you can still graph the line. All right, let's see here. There we go. Okay. Now when you have the equation y equals -2, that one's in slope-intercept form. That's like y equals, hold on a second here. It is in slope-intercept form, but I want to think about it in two different ways. So we'll do slope-intercept form second, but for right now, I'm going to do the table way. Just like we did a table for the x equals 4 equation, I'm going to do a table for y equals -2. And it says y equals -2, so no matter what you pick for x, y is -2. So maybe you pick 0, 1, and 2. So you could plot those 3 points and get your line. Now, going back to the slope-intercept idea, I see 0x's in this equation, so I'm going to write 0x minus 2. You know my y-intercept is at -2, and my slope is 0 over 1, isn't it? So -2 is right here. Rise 0, run 1, rise 0, run 1, rise 0, run 1, and notice I get the same points. 0, -2, 1, -2, 2, -2. So this will be a horizontal line going through y equals -2. So it'll look kind of like that. Okay, now had this been a system, the solution would be the place where the two lines intersect, namely the point 4, -2. But I didn't give them to you as a system. I just said I was going to do two equations on the same graph, and so you don't have to worry about that. So the orange one is the horizontal line, and the bluish green one is the vertical line. Okay, so anyway, that's it for tonight's review video. Again, send me some emails, and I'll make another video, put it on there for you. All right, Mr. Lawrence signing off. Have a good night, everybody.